We share. Oh, take a ride with me.
My name is Pastor Yusuf Timothy, and I'm from Nigeria. I was born in a village called Jingri from Plateau State, and I grew up in Jos. I was born into a Christian family. Back then, my dad was a deacon, but now he's an elder in the church. And my mom was a deaconess. And so my dad is raising 8 children, 6 boys and 2 girls, among whom I happen to be the firstborn. So I was born into a Christian family, and my mom has been teaching us Bible stories and Bible memory verses, and I was really doing great as a kid. I used to represent the church in terms of debate. I really know the Bible a lot back then, until a point where an uncle of mine came and took me away from home to begin to stay with his family, because his firstborn and I were very close friends. We were like twins, my parents accepted, and I was released from my father's house. And that was when I began to live with him. And it wasn't quite long that this man was promoted. He became the director of finance and supply of the governor's office. So he had money. And so back then, little by little, we derailed, from church activities, and we quit going to church all of a sudden. We were back then attending parties, clubbing all the time. We wore the best shoes in town, best clothes in town, best wristwatches in town, and the most expensive clothing in town. But that came as a result of one incident that happened at a museum, Jos Museum. And the first time we went there, we didn't know how guys were hanging around and the type of clothes they were putting on. The very first time we went there, we wore safari clothes, church clothes. And when we got there and saw what was going on, we were really embarrassed, So we had to disappear from there, because we were looking, ordinary. We were looking like villagers, We didn't like our clothing at all. And so we rushed back home and then decided to compete the following year. And so we started buying expensive clothing. The entire year we used for window shopping. So we would go from boutique to boutique or from store to store looking for the best of clothes to buy, the most expensive. And so the following year we bought the best of clothes in town and went there and then knocked everybody off. And we came first, So we did that like 3 years consecutively, winning the competition. And that was how we became popular in our neighborhood and around town, the entire Jos town. And so, but something happened along the line. There was a girl who was extremely beautiful in my neighborhood, a girl that everybody wanted to talk to back then. And I was also interested in that girl, and I wanted to win that competition. And so one day, as I sat down under a tree, meditating, cogitating, contemplating on how to approach this girl, and all of a sudden a splendid idea just popped into my head. And I welcomed that idea. Went to the marketplace, went to the boutique, and then I went and got me a brand new shoes. And then I got me a brand new jean. And then I got me a brand new belt, a brand new t-shirt, and a brand new jacket, and a brand new wristwatch, and a brand new hair. And so when I bought all of my clothing, just came back home immediately and then took a cold shower. And then I went to my dressing room and then dressed up. Look at myself in the standing mirror. And I was looking so corporate, And I had this courage to approach this girl. And then I went and grabbed my dictionary and then looked for big words, And so when I had gathered my lyrics, and then I I arranged my lyrics, then began to bounce to her house. And all of a sudden, I met her on the way. And I said, "Excuse me, baby, for a minute." And then she stopped. And I said, "Hi, baby." And she said, "Hello." And I said, "Baby, you see, as a matter of fact, I've been searching for a girl in our entire neighborhood that will always keep me well accompanied. But it seems to me you turned out to be the girl, the right baby to approach that will suit my lifestyle." I mean, the very first time I saw you, I felt so much saturated just because of the paramount and palpable qualities you possess. So please, if you wouldn't mind, I would like us to become intimate friends because of the love and care I have for you. And I hope you're not going to let me down, because my love for you is incompatible. My love for you is indescribable. My love for you is irresistible. My love for you is perpetual. It's impeccable. So what do you think, baby? And then she looked at me and said, "Wow, what's your name?" And I said, "My name is Flash." And then she gave me a handshake and she said, "Flash, I love the way you talk. Flash, I love the way you dress. Flash, I love everything about you." And then there and then she accepted me, book an appointment. And she was coming to my house the following Saturday. And so when we had parted company, I was just singing and jumping in the air like a nincompoop, because I just got this brand new girlfriend in town. So when I came back home, I was just singing around the house. I was just so happy. And my dad had a call on me. He said, "Yusuf, what's the problem with you?" I said, "Dad, I'm just happy. I'm just in ecstasy." I didn't tell him that I got a brand new girlfriend in town. And so some few days later, I could not wait until Saturday that she promised coming. And so I felt like to see my girlfriend. And so then I decided to take a cold shower. And then I took a cold shower, and then I dressed up. And I wore a colorful shirt that almost everybody in my neighborhood recognized me with. And so then I began to bounce to her house. Her house from my house wasn't too far. But all of a sudden, I felt like to excuse myself in the toilet. And back then in the day, we didn't have public toilets around. And there was a bush on a footpath that I took. I took a shortcut to their house. And so I look around, there was no toilet around. I look around, I didn't know what to do. And then a foolish, stupid idea popped into my head on what I should do. And I accepted the idea. The idea came to me that I should just bend down there and excuse myself before anybody passes through that road. I must have been through and gone. And so by the time I drew my pants down, by the time I drew down my trousers, all of a sudden I saw my girlfriend coming from the other end. And I didn't know what to do. Do I continue bending there? That's going to be a big embarrassment. That's going to be too bad for me, That's going to be too stupid. My reputation was at stake. And I didn't know what to do. I was just confused. And all of a sudden, a good idea came into my mind. I just did like this. And she came quietly and passed by me without saying anything. And then when she was gone, I got on my feet, drew back my pants, my trousers, and I went to my friend's house, who was close around that area. And I went to him and said, "Man, I'm in trouble. I need your help." He said, "What's the problem?" I didn't tell him. I just said, "I need your help." So I said, "Let's exchange our clothes." So he gave me his and I gave him mine. "Let me have your trousers." He gave me his and I gave him mine. "Let me have your shoes." He gave me his and I gave him mine. So after we had exchanged our clothes, I told him, "Please come along with me." And so he came along with me. And then we went to my girlfriend's house. Then I knocked on the door, and she came personally and answered the door. And I said, "Hi, baby." She didn't say hello. She said to me, "What are you doing on the roadside, Yusuf?" I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I just saw you a while ago on the roadside." I said, "No, I wasn't the person you saw. I don't know what you're talking about. I've been out of town. I just came to town, and I decided to come and say hi to you." I said, "No, I saw you." I said, "No, I wasn't the person you saw." And then she looked at us together with my friend, and then she saw that shirt that she saw my body on my friend's body. And then she pointed at my friend and said, "Okay, oh, you are the one that I saw, not him." And I said, "Yeah." I heard her say, "Yes, he was the one that you saw, not me." And then she apologized. And that was how I was able to fool my girlfriend. And my friend, being a nice friend, covered me up. He exactly knew what happened, and then he just kept the matter to himself. He didn't argue. He accepted the fact that he was the one that you saw and not me. And that was how I was able to fool my girlfriend. I'm going to tell you why I told you this story. Yeah, when I was staying with my uncle back then, I knew exactly that hanging around with bad friends wasn't good. It was against my conscience. Even though we never drank alcohol, we never smoked cigarettes, but we were sleeping with women. We were fornicating. It was against my conscience. It was pricking my conscience. And because I knew exactly that the source of the money was bad. My cousin was the one that was stealing the money from my uncle, and I was comfortable collecting the money, buying clothes. That was still bad. I was an accomplice, so that was like me stealing too. And so that was wrong, and sleeping with my girlfriends, I knew exactly what I was seeing. So that was really against my conscience and against my Christian practice. So I was dying inside. Even though on the outside I looked happy, but in the inside I was dying with guilt. And so one day I decided, just one day, I just decided to put a full stop to all I was doing. And so I told my friends, you know what, I want to repent. And so I went and got all my clothes, and then I went and sold them. And I sold my shoes, I sold my expensive wristwatch, I sold my hat, I sold all of the clothes that I had. It was so expensive. And I went and bought church shirts and ties and church pants, trousers. And then I bought church shoes. And then I decided to start making decent haircut. And so that was my turning around. That was how I went back to the church. And so one day I told my uncle and his family that, hey, it's time for me to get back to my father's house. And they said, why? And they were worried. They thought maybe they offended me or they mistreated me. I said, no, you didn't. But it's time for me to go back to my dad's house because I'm the firstborn. I need to go back and supervise my younger ones. I need to go back and help my parents to help raise my younger brothers and sisters. And then they accepted. They said, oh yeah, that was a great idea. And then they prayed for me, and that was how I left. But then I wrote a letter to all of my girlfriends to stop coming to look for me, because I became a born again. And I even told my friends, but my friends didn't believe it. They were laughing at me. They were mocking at me, thinking I was going to slide back into my lifestyle and join them again. But that was my turning point till today. I never went back partying. I never went back clubbing. I never went back chasing girls anymore. Back then, we were not necessarily even chasing girls. We had money, so the girls were the ones chasing us because we were popular. We got money, we got cars, we got the best clothes in town. And so that was how I surrendered my life to God. I remember even before leaving my father's house, my dad had a big dream of my life. My dad wanted me to become rich, educated, because he told me, Yusuf, you're the firstborn of my family, and I'm proud of you. I want to send you to the best schools, even though I'm poor. I'm going to try my best to send you to good schools to get you educated. And when you get educated, you'll be able to get a good job. I have friends who are rich. I want to get you connected so you can get a big job and help your younger brothers, and you can also help me, your dad, because I'm poor. I never had that privilege from my parents. So I want you to become educated and then become somebody very significant in the society. So I accepted my father's dream. In his mind, he wanted me to become some big shot, like an ambassador, like a minister, like a top politician, something like that. And so I accepted. And so, and he sent me to school, and I was doing good in school until the time when this great evangelist came from California. His name was Pastor Jones. He came and preached in Jos for the space of 6 weeks. And he turned the entire city upside down. Pastor Jones was a great preacher. He knew how to preach. He knew how to give good stories, good illustrations, and he could answer difficult questions in the Bible. And I was really drawn to this man. And this man baptized close to 1,000 people back in the 80s. And I said, wow, when I grow up, I'm going to be like this guy. This guy is amazing. He's awesome. He's great. And so that was how I changed my dream. And I went to my dad. I said, Dad, you know what? I don't want to become rich anymore. I don't want to become a top politician anymore. I changed my plan. I changed my dream. And he said, what? Okay, what do you want to be? He thought I was going to say, I want to be a medical doctor or maybe an engineer or a lawyer or something big. And I told him, Dad, I want to be a pastor. He said, what? I said, yeah. He said, no, not in this house. I said, Dad, why? He said, because pastors are poor. And I don't want you to become poor. How much are they being paid? Their salary is little, is something bigger. And I want you to become rich. Can't you understand that? I said, yeah, Dad, I understand, but I don't think that is God's calling for my life. I think God is calling me to become a preacher. He said, no. So he tried his best to convince me, but I refused. And he did something. He went and spoke to a renowned professor at the University of Jos. Yeah, this professor died last year, unfortunately. His name was Professor Nengel. And he went and talked to him to come and convince me. So Professor Nengel sent for me to see him in his office. So I went to his office, and he asked me what was going on, and I told him, and he tried to convince me to drop my dream and take back my father's dream from my life. And I said, no, I don't think I want to be somebody rich in the future. I just want to be a pastor. I want to save the lives of people. And so I don't want to become rich. So leave me alone. And so finally he realized that I was kind of sticking to my dream. He sensed a strong calling on my life. Then he went back to my dad and said, you know what? I would like to advise you to allow this kid. I think this kid is called by God. Just support your son, with his dream. I think he's truly called. But my dad refused. My dad is a man of his word, so he tried to force me to drop my dream and follow his dream, and I refused. Then he instructed my mom not to feed me. And so he told my mom not to feed me. Maybe by punishing me, I was going to change my mind. But unfortunately, unknown to him, my mom was backing me up. She was supporting me. She was supporting my dream. She wanted me to become a pastor. She was proud of me. So anytime he was going to his shop, she would feed me. And anytime he was back in the house, she would give me money to go buy food. So my mom wasn't punishing me. And then that was a period when I wrote a letter to my church board to allow me to preach like 1 week revival program at my church, Laurento Church. And the church board was happy. They said, yeah, we want our kids, to be doing something great like this for the Lord. And so they accepted, they approved my letter, and then allowed me to preach for 1 week. So I preached for 1 week. I wrote my sermons, and I preached my sermons. I put in the illustrations, and everything was great. Everything was fine. And it became crystal clear that this kid was going to be a pastor. And people were blessed spiritually. People were revived. And they began to call me Small Pastor. That was my nickname, Small Pastor. And then they engaged me, and started sending me out to go and preach revival programs in unentered areas. And I will go out and run 1 week or 2 weeks evangelistic series. And I'll come back with huge results of baptism. And so that was how my news got to the conference. And then the conference now sent for me, and I went for an interview of just like 20 minutes. And then they hired me like an intern pastor and posted me back to my home church. So I came back to my home church, and I became an intern pastor. And I started, walking in my district, and I will mount the pulpit, and I will be preaching, and everybody will be blessed. But I will see my dad frowning. Everybody's happy in the church except for my dad. He kept doing that for quite a while, until one day when I came and went to the conference to give them some report. And then he said, you know what, I want to see you if you're back from the conference. So I came back, and then he summoned a family meeting, and then he told me that he just wanted to apologize for what he did to me. He said, Yusuf, I'm really proud of you. When you told me that you wanted to be a pastor, I didn't trust you. I thought maybe you give me good excuses in order to be lazy. So I didn't trust you. And so, but it took me time to be convinced. So I've been supervising to know if you're truly called or not, but finally realized that it was God that's calling you. So I'm really sorry, okay? I know I'm your dad, but I'm not your creator. God is our Heavenly Father. And so I'm sorry, I'm just an earthly parent. And so I want to give you my fatherly blessings, and I want to give you my support. And I'm proud of you, and I want to dedicate you back to God. You're going to be the tithe of my children. So you are God's property, and the other kids are mine. I'm going to allow them to choose whatever career they want to be in. So I'm so sorry, okay? And that was when he got the news that mom wasn't punishing me as he instructed. And so he was so happy, and he embraced my mom. And so, thank you for not punishing our kid. You're the best mother they can ever have, and you're the best wife I can ever have in my life. So thank you so much for not adhering to my instruction. So that was what happened. That was how we reconciled with my dad, in my journey. And he became the best of my supporters. My dad is proud of me. He supported me. He's a fashion designer. He makes all of my African traditional dresses. And he's a good tailor, so he gives me money. He gives me stuff. He gives me all that I need, So that is, there's some times that you may be having a dream that might be conflicting with the dream of your parents. Maybe sometimes you want to study law. Or maybe your parents might say, hey, you got to study engineer, or you got to be a lawyer, or you got to be this or that. All you got to do is to try to know exactly what you're good at. If what you are good at is quite conflicting with what you feel your parents are asking you to do, you got to let them know in a polite way. You got to tell them, what, Dad, Mom, I'm not good in math. I'm not good in English. I'm not good in this, So you want me to become a physician, but I'm not good in sciences. I'm not good in chemistry. I'm not good in physics. I'm not good in biology. So please, Dad, it's not that I want to disrespect you, but I want to go for what I think God is preparing me to be in life. So I think this is what I think I want to be. But you are asking me to be something else. I'm so sorry. I don't want to disappoint you, but I just want to follow the plan of God in my life. I think if you explain to them in a very humble way, I think your parents will be able to understand. And I think they will support you. I told you about how my girlfriend found me messing around on the roadside. I want to use that as an illustration. Jesus is coming soon. And in Revelation 16:15, he says there that, behold, I come like a thief. Behold, I come like a thief. So he's coming on a day we don't know. He's coming at an hour that we least expect. So just like my girlfriend caught me messing around the roadside, that's exactly how a lot of people are going to be caught unawares. A lot of people are going to be caught in spiritual mess. A lot of people are going to be caught stealing. A lot of people are going to be caught fornicating or committing adultery with their neighbors' wives. A lot of people are going to be caught smoking cigarettes. A lot of people are going to be caught killing people. A lot of people are going to be caught in mess, and it's going to be too late to repent. And I was able to fool my girlfriend, and my friend covered me up, but nobody can fool God. Nobody can fool Jesus. And so if Jesus comes and he meets you in your mess, I'm sorry, you are going to hell. So you better be careful. You better repent before it's too late. And this is the time to change. This is the time to repent. And this is the time to reconcile with God. When I joined the ministry, I had a dream of going to Andrews University in America. But I didn't know how to get there because I know my dad is poor, and I know my conference couldn't sponsor me. But I kept my dream, just been doing my own thing, trusting God that God is going to open ways. And finally, he opened the way for me to go to study at Andrews University, even though I had big challenges when I got there. I think after I had arrived in America at Andrews, my sponsor, who was going to sponsor me, died in his sleep. 2 weeks after I arrived there, he called me on phone and asked for my bank account number for him to wire my money. He was going to send me my school fees. He was going to send me money for my upkeep. He was going to send me money for rent. He was going to send me a lot of money for everything that would take care of myself and my bills. But you know what? He died 2 days before he sent the money. So I was stranded in America. I was in trouble. And I was angry at God. I said, God, why did you allow me to come here? Did you bring me here to disappoint me? And I didn't know what to do. So I gave a call to one of my cousins who was raised by my dad. And I told him to send me money for flight to come back home. And then he said, why do you want to come back home? I said, oh, I just lost my sponsor to death. And he shouted. He was so surprised. I said, what? I said, yeah. Then he asked me, how much is the school fees? And when I told him, he still shouted because that was a lot of money. But you know what? My cousin wired me the entire money. And I was so surprised how he was able to do that. And when I saw this money, I was surprised. I said, how did you manage to send me this kind of money? He said, oh, Yusuf, I love you. Your dad has sacrificed for me. Your dad raised me. Your dad trained me. And I can't leave you stranded in America. It's my turn to take care of you. And so you must go to school. The devil is a liar. And so he was the one that paid my entire tuition for that semester. But you know what? The following semester, he died in a car accident. And I was stranded the second time. I said, God, why are you doing this to me? And to cut long story short, somebody came into the picture. He eventually went blind. So it's like anybody wants to help me go to school, something bad, some tragedy will hit the person. And finally, I decided just to sponsor myself to struggle. I had to leave America, go to Canada, to go do some part-time job. And I was able to go to school. I was able to sponsor myself. And thank God today, I was able to graduate. So I was able to do my MDiv. And God took me through another route. I was able to do my chaplaincy training. And as I'm talking to you now, God gave me 3 careers by His grace. Today, I'm a trained pastor. Today, I'm a trained chaplain. I'm a professional healthcare chaplain endorsed by North American Division. And I was able to go back to school again and do clinical mental health counseling. So I'm a certified professional mental health counselor, therapist, licensed in the state of Michigan. All this came to me or happened to me by the grace of God. And I've only two years to finish my PhD. So God is awesome. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know about your challenges. But I want to tell you, I want to encourage you to trust God. God has all the solutions. Okay? Don't give up on your dream. Follow your dream. And God is going to see you, till the end, just like you saw me. God saw me, but I almost lost hope. But I was able to wait for the Lord. And He was able to see me through. And I was able to finish. So please don't give up on your dream. Just trust God and just stand still. And God is going to see you through.